Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Mid South Wrestling Review Series, and we are on January 1st, 2021. Welcome to the new year, everybody. My goal is to have 1984 done by the end of the weekend for you, maybe even sooner, who knows. Anyway, as we move forward, we are in the month of month of June, 1984, and specifically, we are in June 16th of 84, and this is actually, I believe, the night of the Stampede there. The last Stampede, pretty sure that's that night. If not, it's right at around the same time. But anyway, obviously, this is a huge time and worth taking a look at. Jim Ross, your commentator for the time period, and alongside Boyd Pierce, uh, we do see Magnum TA and Killer Khan kind of in a, I guess you'd say, a bit of a previous match clipped from the past. Khan off with a couple of shoulder tackles. Big backdrop by TA, and he comes up. I hate when they do the reviewed matches because they're clipped to heck. Meanwhile, we see TA with the armbar, and then short knee by Khan. Khan certainly a guy who they take TA takes a couple shots at him. Drop kick under the chin. We see quite a number of shots, including punches and chops to the top of the head. Somewhere along the way, TA gets busted open. I don't really quite understand. Maybe that was done either during a part of the match that's not shown or something. Short knee, and Khan uses the ropes temporarily to try and get an advantage. Doesn't get everything he wants on that, and ultimately we see the whip into the corner, and we see a good bit of goals there. Go around, and TA on the outside of the ring comes back in, fires up, punch, kick, and the like. Obviously, TA through the end of his run, which does extend right to the beginning of 1985, I'm pretty sure, is protected well. Upside down head scissors at a point, and a head scissors takeover by TA. TA does get the victory out of nowhere, and gets the belly to belly suplex. 1, 2, 3, and away we go here in June of the year 1984. Of course, they do a video review, music video style of thing with a history between Magnum TA and Mr. Wrestling 2, the original Mr. Wrestling 2, not the latter version. Doug Vines and Terry Taylor up next, and certainly Taylor is a guy who does well in this era. Some go behinds, roll ups, and the like. Really basic stuff for Terry Taylor in that regard. And anyway, we kind of see a bit of some deep arm drags, really basic stuff. Nothing major in the match as Taylor kind of holds on, gets things going to the best of his ability, and really we see the Irish whip, and Taylor with the monkey flip out of the corner, Irish whips roundabout, and Taylor certainly has the advantage. However, Vine kind of takes a cheap shot, several minutes with the cheap shot, and ultimately we see some suplexes, goes for the cover. Taylor should not be, at least in my estimation, having this much trouble with what amounts to an enhancement talent, but again, Mid-South is one of those places where everyone's made to look competitive so that in the end you can get good matches out of everybody. Taylor does hit the 5-arm, gets the victory there, rolls through, and there we go. Buddy West and Crusher Khrushchev. Khrushchev, of course, has been a major star in the area. Buddy West, a newcoming individual who doing the enhancement stuff. Anyway, Khrushchev brawls, punch, kick, real basic stuff. Khrushchev has been a major force in the area. Nikolai Volkov pretty well leaving, I'd say pretty soon, next few months anyway. He's back to the WWF, and I've got to grab my phone, so we will be back momentarily in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And again, the shots by, Khrushchev are pretty instrumental. He continues to kick down on the guy. He is a very aggressive individual, and again, he ultimately ends up being part of one of the biggest tag teams of all time in Demolition. He cinches up on a, front face lock type maneuver, and he is using chokes and everything he can to get as much of a victory as possible. Then we see the hanging backbreaker and ultimately getting a victory there. He's kind of continuing to want continuation of things. Dr. Death Steve Williams comes out and beals him across the ring after I guess you'd say Khrushchev made the challenge. Dr. Death Steve Williams has put the television championship medal on a pole. I'm not necessarily a fan of the medal concept. I understand in 1984 it's an Olympic year and all of that, but the medal concept seems kind of wonky to me. Anyway, Dr. Death with the backdrop and tries to pull Khrushchev out of the corner. We kind of see the match break down into a bit of a brawl. First time that Khrushchev really has been, I don't know that dominated is the right word, but certainly challenged in a way where he looks to be less dominant of the two in the ring. Dr. Death, through the next several years, is a major force in the area. I think without Mid-South, he might not have been the star that he ended up being. He kind of hits the shoulder tackle, goes right at it, hits the 3-point stance and the running shoulder tackle again. And Dr. Death walks away with the medals for the TV championship. And kind of Pete Martin against, I believe it's Sonny King here. Yeah, in the next match it is Sonny King. And I mean, ultimately, King has been a African American star who is rising a little bit. He never hits like a main event status, but he does, we hit a value status, I guess you'd say. Arm bars, backdrops, and a kick to the midsection by King. King pretty well manages to do everything he can do to get an advantage for himself. The enhancement talent backs him up, tries a body slam, misses a second rope maneuver, and King continues with the kind of the flying forearm, flying headbutt type maneuver, and gets a victory there. Nature Boy Buddy Landel against Mark Reagan. They're really trying with Reagan, but it is not working to get him over. Landel is a good fodder for him, though, as Landel really a good heel who backs off quite easily, and kind of is there. Cut off by Landel. Landel with the back elbow, several kicks and really basic stuff. Kind of some ride time with the back chin lock and the like. Simple stuff, and then hits the corkscrew elbow, gets a victory there. Hacksaw Jim Duggan back in the area against Pat Rose. Of course, Duggan, a major force in the Mid-South area throughout 82 to 84. Takes some time off for injuries upon occasion. Actually, all the way through his leaving for the WWF, he does a good run there. Rose, not exactly a major challenge for Duggan by any stretch of the imagination. Duggan manages to hit Rose in such a way that he bails out in a hurry here, and it's not, a huge thing, but it's enough of a thing where, Duggan pretty dominant there, obviously, been both babyface and a heel, still trying to find himself completely as a character. I'd say that happens over the second half of 84. I'd say 85 to 87, including the WWF run, might be the best Duggan ever was. Anyway, tries to go for the shoulder tackle in the corner. Doesn't get all he wants off the shoulder tackle, and Duggan with the kick to the, the high kick to the midsection would be the easiest way to say it. And gotta grab my phone again. It's been a busy day thus far. Good way to start the new year. Anyway, we'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail to continue our review here. And obviously, Duggan getting the victory with the shoulder tackle is the, I guess you'd say, foregone conclusion, for lack of better terminology. Duggan getting victory here and continuing to be a major force in Mid-South. That's not going to change till he leaves for the World Wrestling Federation, which I believe is not until 1987. Anyway, the Midnight Express and Mr. Wrestling and Youngblood. Mr. Wrestling and Youngblood is an odd team. It is interesting to me that the odd teams kind of do continue. Obviously, Cornette, Eden, and Lane as the tag team champions, a major force in Mid-South for the last several months. That doesn't change. Youngblood has a lot of potential that kind of goes under-realized, for lack of a better term, and it's certainly a bigger deal than ever before. Kind of, we see leapfrogs, we see double chops and really basic stuff along the way. Ultimately, kind of the attempt to tag offs and all of that. We continue to see the benefit of Condrey kind of begging off from the apron, or kind of trying to incite his adversary. Wrestling 2 comes in, catches a few shots on Condrey, hits him in the midsection, and then kind of Condrey ping-pongs around a little bit, manages to do everything he can do to get things going in his general direction. And I mean, it's there. Certainly, Youngblood has a lot of potential, does a lot in the Carolinas at the time, in the time period. I think he's out of wrestling by 85, 86. I might even be wrong on the timeline there, but he's not here very long. And it's sad because I think Youngblood has a lot of talent. Wrestling 2 almost put in a babyface type role here, which after the issues with Magnum TA kind of strikes me as odd too. But again, I think Mid-South might be one of the first territories where you can blend talents, certainly more in the UWF days, and blend the lines of heel and babyface sometimes. In other words, heels can fight, babyfaces can fight before a turn, all of that. Big back body drop by Wrestling 2, manages to take Bobby Eaton down and around, shot to the midsection by Wrestling 2, and again, we kind of go in that direction. Again, Wrestling 2 manages to get a few shots off, and he's really, I wouldn't say permanently aggressive, but he's pretty assertive. Big back body drop attempted, but the kind of the block off by Wrestling 2, and again we kind of see him go to town. Bobby Eaton comes in from behind, and kind of the double leg takedown by Condrey, and Cornette on the outside is phenomenal. He's spouting off, kind of frustrated and all of that, but not really clearly defined as far as what is wanted, needed, or whatever there. It's an interesting run, to say the very least. In that the Midnight Express certainly, without a doubt, is a dominant team. Them being put in there with a team like this that's kind of makeshift doesn't really make sense to me, but at the same time, you can't really burn out the Rock and Roll Express feud all the time. And the Midnights are guys you want on television as often as you can get it. Meanwhile, Sonny King makes his way into the ring, and as does Landell and friends, and the beatdown by the Midnight Express on that whole thing comes into alignment as we close this particular edition of Mid South. I'm going to have a lot of content for you here today. Happy New Year to those of you who are celebrating wherever you may be. And until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.